Welcome to another training video brought to you by Sunray University. In this video, we'll be discussing preventive maintenance plans as offered by Sunray Machinery. We will answer the questions, what are PM plans, what do they include and not include, how to establish that the customer needs a PM plan in his life to both yourself and to your customer. So let's get into it. What is our goal for PM upsells on new units? 100% you might be thinking? That's a good number to strive for if you're going to hit the actual target. Our goal is actually 80%. How do we come up with this number, you might be asking? Well, we show this plan to 5 of the top experts in the industry, and 4 out of 5 of them agreed that this is a good deal, thus giving us our 80% target. But in all seriousness, this is a pretty common number in the industry, and one that I was held to personally by one of my former OEMs. There are always going to be some owners and companies that this just isn't going to be a good fit for. But again, if you're going to hit 80%, you need to be quoting this 100% of the time. Always assume a yes and make them say no. PM plans include all services as scheduled in the operator's manual. This includes changing both air filters at each interval. In addition to that, we take oil samples from every cavity at every service interval. On most machines, this will be every 500 hours. Your service manager or PSR, if your store is equipped with one, will track these samples and contact your customer with the condition report. These reports will also be permanently attached to the work order. Speaking of condition, every time we perform a PM, we will also do a complete machine inspection. These inspections will be done in accordance with our standard multi-point inspections designed specifically for that machine segment. To me, this is the most valuable part of the PM, having the machine inspected by someone trained specifically to do just that. These inspections will also be a permanent part of the work order. Our parts department will guarantee parts in stock for these services. What this means is, if they do not have the part in stock, they will do whatever it takes to get it in time for that service at no additional charge to the customer. 1 hour of travel time is included in all PMs except for utility-sized machines. This includes CTLs, SSLs, and mini excavators. These machines are usually easy to transport behind a pickup and helps to keep the cost of these PMs down. Now, if your customer wants on-site service, just add an hour of labor at the PM rate for each interval to your machine quote. If an hour or so isn't going to be enough to get to and from the machine, then you can also add additional time, again, at the PM rate. These PMs will expire whenever the hours or the date are exceeded, whichever comes first. There is some wiggle room here, so feel free to ask about the specific deal that you are working on. PMs can also be customized to fit your customer's needs. Lastly, we are offering a ProCare upgrade. ProCares do not include travel time, air filters, or oil samples. This upgrade closes that gap, ensuring that there are no additional charges to your customer. So now that we know what PM plans are and what the goal is, let's take a look at some more selling points to help you close the deal. In the next few slides, we will cover establishing the need with your customer. We will look at the price to service a 580 Super N with and without a PM plan, and what the PM cost is compared to just buying the parts and doing it yourself. The number on this one is really going to blow your mind. We will then summarize those cost savings and look at some less obvious cost savings that you and your customer might have missed. We will briefly discuss the time and convenience factors of PM plans. Lastly, we will cover any challenges you might have faced in the field or even just in your own head. What are some indicators that tell you that your customer needs our help? Scheduling board. When you visit their shop, keep your eye out for anything that indicates that they track maintenance. This could be a whiteboard or it could be computer software. You may need to ask them what they do. If they don't have any of this, then they're relying on an operator to report the need, or they're checking the hour meter when the machine happens to pass through the yard. This is not a reliable system. Filters and oils, do they have these on hand? If they don't, then they probably do not take maintenance seriously. If they have to run out to get these items, there's a good chance that they won't get to it before that machine leaves. Something more important will probably get in the way. Dates on filters. If I can, I crawl around the machines when I'm in their yard or shop. I'm looking for hours and dates on filters and checking for anything past due. I'm looking for grease points that are dry and how well the machine is maintained overall. Fleet count versus tech count. How many machines are there for each mechanic they have on staff? Are they overwhelmed by the size of their fleet? Is there an opportunity to take over their routine maintenance so they can focus on more significant repairs, or vice versa? Talk to everybody. Depending on our role, we tend to focus on one point of contact. It is important to get to know everyone. You will often get a different story or different viewpoint from everybody. Sometimes the owner isn't being told the full truth, or he's just living on assumptions. Be careful with how you reveal the truth if this is necessary. Turnover at their location is also a good reason to expand your contacts. Preventable failures. Keep an eye on machines that are in your shop and make sure they're keeping you up on any premature failures that could be prevented. This can be a great foot in the door for PMs since you have proof of concept sitting in your shop. Okay, this all sounds great and you've pretty much sold me on this, but we're still talking about a lot of money here for these plans. How do I sell that price tag to my customer? He can still do it himself much cheaper, right? Well, I'm glad you asked because we're going to look at that and what the true cost of PMs are in the next slide. Great, let's see it. Well, you're kind of in my way. Oh, well, I guess I'll be going now. Okay. Let's take a look at what it actually costs to do all the services in the first 1,000 hours of a 580 Super N. I created this quote by the book, pricing parts at full retail, labor at door rate, all miscellaneous fees, travel time, and zone charges. That total came out to $4,783. We charged $2,922 for a PM plan to cover the same time frame. That gives us a total savings of $1,861, or about 39% off. That's a bit more than what we stated in the brochure, but it still cost almost $3,000, as our friend pointed out. He can still do it much cheaper himself, right? Well, he still has to buy the parts, right? So how much do those cost? $2,087. That means that a PM plan is actually costing him just $835. Keep in mind, out of that $835, he still has to pay his mechanic, store and dispose of the oil, and all the other stuff that goes with running a shop. Do you still think you can't sell this? Okay, fine. Let's take a look at some more cost savings on the next slide. Let's quickly recap some of the savings we've already shown and take a look at a few more. If you can think of any that are not on this list, please shoot me an email and I'll get them added to this list. Parts and labor discount of 30% or more. I think we've covered that one enough already in the previous slides. No shop supplies, environmental fees, or zone charges. Inflation protection, potentially 6 to 7% or greater savings. Your customer is going to pay today's price and is not going to be affected by the annual increase to parts prices and labor rates. Tax benefits. Do you know when your customer's fiscal year ends? His accountant may have advised him to spend some money. Be there to save him money on his maintenance cost and on his tax bill. Ability to finance the maintenance. The PM can be rolled into the finance package, so no need to pay for this up front, just a small bump in your monthly payment. Predictable monthly costs. Rolling this into the financing, along with an extended warranty, creates a very steady and consistent monthly payment. No spikes in expenses when that 2,000-hour service rolls around. The only additional expenses that he'll need to cover is cutting edges and teeth and possibly operator error. On that note, why not have him purchase those items up front? Remember, you can put anything you want in that machine quote. And the less we have to put our hand out for after the deal, the better. Proof of service. Sometimes this is required for warranty repairs. Sometimes warranty will ask for proof of service before paying a repair. Many customers that do their own services do not keep track of these when they do them themselves and may have a warranty claim denied if they cannot provide adequate documentation. Time and convenience. We will service this machine at his job site, our shop, or his shop, whatever is most convenient at that time. Proper hazardous waste disposal handled. A 580 Super N has 30 gallons of fluid that needs to be changed out at a 1,000-hour service. And of course, excavators can have much, much more than this. Where does this fluid go? What does he do with it? Let us take care of it. We track when services are due if telematics is present. We get an email from SiteWatch when that service is getting close to being due, and we can get it scheduled to ensure that it's not late. Keeping SiteWatch going after the free period is over is only about $18 a month for basic service. In the future, we'd like to offer after hours and Saturdays at no additional cost. As this program builds and we have a steady flow of machines with PMs, we'll start offering these after hours and Saturday options at no additional cost. Our goal here is to be as easy to do business with as possible. Challenges. After watching this, I hope I've answered all of your questions and that you can clearly see the value of this program. If you still have any questions or run into challenges in the field, then please drop us a line and we'll work through those with you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.